Hey guys, thanks for being here. Hope you're all doing well. As some of you may know, we just had the first Detroit Uncommon pop-up shop, and it was a success. We got an interview, I got an interview with the artist Steve Chapiewski on WJZZ FM Radio Detroit, 105.9 or some shit. I don't know exactly. But anyway, so following is the video. The first 15 minutes starts out with Steve, and then I come in because I was fucking still busy setting up the show before I was able to get into the studio to fucking do this here. Anyway, you can contact me at Markham Artist on Facebook and Instagram, and email Markham at markhamartist1.com, web markhamartist1.com for all the art and goodies and other things available for commissions and more. But I am getting booked up, so you better fucking get at me soon, or I'm gonna have to put you into next year. So stick around, enjoy the video, and I will see you on the other side.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Chop It Up with Attorney Linda Bernard, also Police Commissioner Linda Bernard. It's a great day here, but a chilly, chilly day, unseasonably cool. I wore pink because it's the Easter weekend, and I'm looking forward to obviously celebrating the holiday with my friends. Yesterday, I did this Good Friday thing. I went to church, went to Mass, and it was interesting. Good Friday is always a day that makes me very sad, and people tell me it shouldn't, but it makes me sad because I think about the suffering that Christ went through. Crucifixion is something that is so awful that you can't even imagine it these days. Although some countries still do those sort of barbaric sort of penalties for people, cutting off limbs, doing stuff, cutting off their tongue, doing stuff. But, I mean, you know, the barbarism of mankind is unbelievable, and you see it in full force on Good Friday. So, to everyone out there, I'm wishing everyone a very happy holiday this weekend with your friends and family. Whether you celebrate Easter or you're in Ramadan or whatever is going on, Passover, I wish you the best, and I wish you God's blessings. My guest today is a very cool guy by the name of Steve Chapiewski.
Wow, you nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is a great guy. He's a graphic artist. He's a fine artist. Does fine artist work as well. He does print production, advertising, and he's actively engaged in the fine arts.
Yes.
He conducts shows throughout Southeastern Michigan and around the country as well. And he's a pretty great guy with this. Wait till you hear this voice, ladies and gentlemen. You think, I have a good voice. Wait till you hear his. He has a real radio, Paul McCarthy voice.
I have a face for radio, as my mom would say.
There's no question about it. Steve, let's talk about you a minute before we get into what you do. You're from the Metro Detroit area?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in the Detroit area, and grew up on the east side. I'm currently living on the west side with my wife, but I've lived in all three counties at one point in my life.
I see. Where'd you go to high school?
Stevenson High School in Sterling Heights.
Okay. And college? Or did
Macomb.
Okay.
Yep. 12 Mile High, but I shouldn't call it that. I got a great education from Macomb. They're a great place to get an education. Can't say enough good things about Macomb.
I would agree with you about that. They do have a good educational system, very similar to Oakland County.
Yeah.
That is true. Yep. We're working on it here in Wayne County, as you know.
My ex-wife got her degree from Wayne State, and my current wife has degrees from Wayne as well, and so yeah, don't sell Wayne County short. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, I earned my bachelor's degree from Monteith Honors College at Wayne State in 3 years, actually.
Wow.
And then my law degree from Wayne State, and then a master's in law degree from the University of Pennsylvania Law School. I was the first African American to earn a master's in law after writing a 300-page thesis.
Wow.
But in any event, I agree with you on the importance of education. And it's interesting, we're talking about this before we get to your about what you do and so forth. Because before we opened this broadcast, we were talking about it. I was talking about education and about the fact that you can't close an economy. But the greatest, I think the greatest drawback with respect to the way we handled ourselves during the pandemic was closing schools. It was unthinkable. Because school provides kids structure. Kids have to go to school. I mean, 2 years, I tell people all the time, I don't know if you'd agree with this, Steve, about your own life, but if I had been free for 2 years between the ages of like 12 and 15, 13, the streets would have caught me.
Oh, I would have been in so much trouble.
The streets would have caught me.
Yeah, I mean, even in Sterling Heights, one of those, safe towns, I was a hellion. I was just a rotten kid, did all kinds of horrible things with my friends, and like you said, if I had 2 years
of freedom,
I would have, I shouldn't say it, I would have destroyed that city. I mean, we were already public enemy number one in Sterling Heights. That tells you how bad it was in Sterling Heights. We did some really funny things. I should have my own podcast to talk about some of the things that I've done. But 2 years is way too long without structure.
I mean, and the reason that I know that that's true is that all the Catholic schools and private schools kids didn't die, out of the classroom or die in the class. Teachers didn't, pass out and die in the classroom. It just made no sense to close schools. And also small businesses.
Yeah.
I mean, it just made no sense. People can know how to handle themselves.
Yeah, as long as you're smart, as long as you
have a brain. You started a business. Obviously, you're smart.
Yeah. I mean, you can take recommendations and work with them yourself and be intelligent about it. I kept my company open. It's not much of a company. It's just me as a freelancer. I've been a freelancer since 1993. So a lot of the work that I did was from home anyway, so it really didn't affect me that much. It affected my clients because they closed, so therefore I closed. I didn't have anything to do. So it gave me the opportunity to, shore up my portfolio, learn some new skills, work with artists, other artists in the community remotely, or we do stuff outside, whatever people felt safe with, as long as you're cool about it, just be smart.
I read a lot of stuff about the Spanish flu of 1917, which killed almost 700,000 Americans. Wait a minute, but there were only 100 million Americans at that time. So it was far more devastating because now we have 350 million and we've got about 800,000 people that allegedly died. Although, they went out trying to find people. Everybody wanted to say it was COVID because you got $10,000 from the government, whether you were a citizen or not. All you got to do is say, I died from COVID, the family gets $10,000. I mean, it was candy. It was candy money. So, and they reclassified so many deaths as COVID. That people I know who said that my husband's had a heart condition forever. He died from heart. I know it's COVID, so okay, fine. I'll take the 10. There just was no downside to this. But the point in 1917 was because there were no benefits. There was no Social Security. There was no Medicaid. There was no Medicare. Certainly, there were no government handouts or anything like that. So guess what? Everybody worked. And the schools never closed, and the businesses never closed. They took precautions,
sure,
but they never closed.
Yeah.
You can't shut down an economy and expect success and just flood the country with money, which is what has occurred, of course. But
yeah. Well, like I said, they were smart. They just took care of themselves. And,
they did.
They had to do what they had to do
in order to survive. In order to eat, they had to work.
Right, and. I mean, I was lucky. I had some savings, so I was able to survive. And my wife, she's a retired elementary art teacher, so we were among the lucky ones that had income already, so we could survive. But there were a lot of people that were just really hard up, and I mean, I feel for that. That was horrible,
Well,
and if when these businesses close, it trickles down to
Worse yet, you lose your income, you lose your reputation, you lose what you've built up. I mean, it's unbelievable, the trauma.
Yeah, you lose your self-worth, your
sense of dignity.
self-value. Yeah, it's one of the things that's kind of bugged me with not having a lot of work is I feel sometimes that, wow, do I suck? I mean, am I bad? Is my work bad? Do people hate me?
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that nobody hates him. I've seen
Everybody
his
loves
work.
me.
It's great. And again, I want to welcome you to Chop It Up with Attorney Linda Bernard, also Police Commissioner Linda Bernard. You're watching WJZZ, Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. You can watch us on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, you name it. We're a global station, so hello, my friends in Africa. And where's your family from?
Oh, all over. Poland mostly.
Poland, okay. And hello, our friends in
Yep.
Poland. As you could tell by Steve's last name, Chapiewski.
Yeah.
Steve, speaking of that, I want to talk to you a little bit about Poland. I want to talk about your business.
Okay.
What's your take on what's happening right now with Ukraine
Oh,
and your family in Poland,
it's heartbreaking.
which has 2 million refugees there now,
Yeah,
and more coming?
I don't know personally the relatives that I do have in Poland. Back in the 80s, my grandfather went back to Poland and hung out with his family and our family and such. And it was bad then with just being in Poland. I've been to Germany and Russia where I have other relatives as well, but I didn't go to see them. I went to see art museums and stuff. That was a fun vacation back in the 90s that I did. But as far as the situation with the Ukraine is concerned, it's heartbreaking to me to see what's happening, and it hurts to see so many people displaced from their homes, and what really bugs me too is I really enjoyed my time, visiting Russia. I spent some time in St. Petersburg and went to all the art museums.
That's the only place I wanted to go to in Russia was St. Petersburg.
Beautiful
because
town.
of the churches.
Beautiful town.
And the architecture.
Yeah, we had a hotel right across the street from St. Isaac's Cathedral, a giant building, beautiful. The Hermitage, the Winter Palace, the State Museum, all these beautiful, beautiful places to enjoy. And now it looks like I won't be going back anytime soon.
No, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go there. I don't
Nope.
want to go back. I am so upset
Yeah.
with what Putin has done, and also to a certain extent with the lack of preparation that our government had with respect to this issue. This is very similar to what happened in Afghanistan. I mean, here we go again. We're always on what I call the late freight. I mean, how do I let all these tanks surround you, Steve, and say, oh no, we're still negotiating? They're not going to, at what point do I say, Steve, you need some tanks, you need some stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gonna believe me? My talking, or you gonna believe your lying eyes? That's what my mom used to say all the time. Your eyes are telling you what's happening.
Yeah.
And we did nothing. And nor did the rest of the world, because we didn't mobilize it.
Yeah, I think that it was, I don't think anybody, I'm not a world leader, so I can only guess that they might have been surprised.
How could you be surprised?
Yeah.
When we are
I mean,
looking at satellites on
Yeah.
the with tanks moving here,
Yeah.
tanks moving here, hundreds of them.
Again,
We're watching
yeah.
munitions. We're watching trucks because the satellites. I can tell what the United States satellite and their satellites as well. China's. I can tell, Steve, whether or not your shoes are tied. That's how acute this vision is from satellite. And I know this because my cousin is a 2-star general. A brigadier general, and so a major general, pardon, that's what it's called. And we talk about this. He can tell if your shoes are tied from space. In the United States, I can tell if your shoes are tied in Russia. That's how finite. And
That's pretty
minute
cool.
this is.
I mean, it's a little Big Brother-ish, but it's still pretty cool.
I know that part, but I'm just saying. So there are no surprises when
Yeah.
you are moving people and munitions
Yeah.
around.
I wonder, again, I'm not a world leader, and I have, my opinion, it carries very little weight. So I can't imagine. Maybe not necessarily thinking that they were surprised, but maybe not thinking that, I don't think he's that brazen. Is Putin that brazen? Is he that big of a jerk? Is he that kind of guy? And, 99% of the world probably could have said, yeah, duh. But maybe somebody
You
in
don't
power...
invest that kind of
Yeah.
resources and time in something and not intend to do it.
Exactly.
When you invest your resources and time in paintings and in
Sure.
oil and paint and charcoal, all the things that you do, and canvases, it's because you plan to paint.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In any project, world leadership to graphic arts, any project that I do goes through extensive planning before I do the actual work. I speak to the printers beforehand. I deal with the art directors. I deal with the creative directors. I deal with photographers. Anybody that's involved in the project or anybody involved in the production. I'm dealing with all of this way before I get to the work. It's 99% of the project.
It's planning, right?
Yeah.
But moving your resources. Excuse me, sir. You can't. I apologize. He'll be out soon. We'll stop. Thank you. We're on the air.
Roger told me to come in on.
Oh, you're gonna talk as well?
He
Oh,
told
come
me.
on.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that.
Were
I
you
thought
on
you
a
were
break?
trying to get it. No, we weren't. We were. We were talking about. We were talking about the war. And your name again?
Michael Markham.
Michael Markham. Michael. I have a nephew named Michael. We call him Michael Motorcycle. And you are Michael, and you are like him. He is Michael to the second power. His last name is Miller. Your last name is Markham. So that's Michael to me to the second power. You have two M's.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. We have met before, ladies and gentlemen. Michael is joining Steve Chapiewski here today on Chop It Up with attorney Linda Bernard. They are both artists. We heard a little bit from Steve about art. We started talking about politics and his last name and what's happening in the world. But Michael, let's go back to art. I know you guys are sort of partners in terms, or certainly business associates in the art business. Michael, what's happening with the art business in the city of Detroit, or in Southeastern Michigan? Let's put it like that.
The art business in Southeastern Michigan is a playing field of highs and lows. It's on a resurgence in some parts and remains stable in others. It depends on what end of the spectrum you're on. For what we're doing, this pop-up shop today with Detroit Uncommon, this is something to bring artists who have, we haven't had shows for probably the last couple of years.
Yeah, almost 3 years.
And so this is an opportunity for us to kind of swing back into the groove of everything, get back to what we're used to doing more on a regular basis.
So are art shows critical to your success, or how does your business work?
Oh, absolutely.
Steve, tell me how it
Yeah,
works.
art shows are essential for not just our businesses, but for reaching new people and sharing our ideas with other artists, expanding our own networks and such. For me personally, I do more at like my personal art shows. For my solo art shows, I do really well at those, and then these group shows are an excellent opportunity to meet new people, to share ideas, to get involved, suck up the mojo from other artists. That's one of the things I love about being around other artists, is stealing their energy, as I hope they steal energy from me.
I understand that.
It's really important.
yeah.
And it's not just other artists, it's the people that come to see us. It's the people that come to buy. It's meeting new people that wouldn't have known about us otherwise. When we were here last week, there were a bunch of folks that came through that were like, oh, we didn't know there was an art show here. And it was awesome. It was awesome meeting those people and, just interacting, and everyone's, starved for human contact, even though, things are getting a little bit back to normal, thankfully. But we're all still starving for human contact, and it was awesome to just have that last week. And with the shows that are, hopefully going to be returning, and the sketch sessions and such.
How,
and that
how
sort
long
of
have
thing.
each of you been involved in art? And what do you told me what you do as an artist. You're a graphic and fine artist,
Yeah.
print production, advertising, design, and as I said earlier, fine artist. And what type of artist are you, Michael?
I'm a fine artist. Traditionally started out in illustration. Now I work mostly in gouache watercolor. So I do a lot of painting. I'm also a graphic designer, musician.
What kind of musician? What's your,
He does cool music.
what's your act?
Drums,
What's your act?
drums, vocals, and some keys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Not so verse and keys. I just, I know what sounds okay.
Oh no, that's okay. But you like the drums.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All
And then
right
I
now.
studied opera, so I'm operatically trained vocally.
Congratulations
Rock on, me
to
too.
you. I agree with that. I'll give you dap on that. Right. For real. So how do you get the word out? And one and two, what type of show do you guys prefer? Indoors or outdoors?
Oh,
How do you get the word out? And then what type of show do you prefer?
Absolutely prefer indoors.
Okay.
There's a lot less that can go wrong,
Alrighty.
total roll of the dice.
I didn't know that. Okay, go ahead. And how do you get the word out?
Online, social media, there's a lot of things growing there these days. A lot of other platforms like Alignable, for example. I put the post up on that platform for this week, as well as Facebook and, all the traditional platforms. But yeah, I mean, that really does seem to do a lot. And then personal word of mouth, like sending out text to your friends on your phone and stuff like that. I mean, I have a great response just from that alone for today.
Oh, great. So you're looking forward to a really good show. And the weather's good. I mean, at least it's
Yeah.
bright and sunny. It's not,
Right.
drab and rainy or cold, snowing. It could be. It's holding up to snow, but it's not snowing. What about you? How do you like to get the word out about your shows?
Pretty much the same thing. The cheap and easy ways are social media. You can reach a lot of people if you've got a good friends list, and people that have decent sized groups that you can get involved with. And to throw a little money at your advertising as well. You can just throw a couple of dollars at a post on Instagram just to boost it up to a couple thousand people, and sometimes that helps. And there are so many other avenues for advertising. It just depends on how much money you want to spend. You can throw your stuff up on a billboard for a little while for money, or you can take out an ad in a paper or something like that. Some of these things, it depends on who you're trying to reach. You have to know your target audience. But for us, for this kind of art show, social media is the way to go. It really is. It's all of the people that, since we're all starving artists, we do everything, on the cheap as much as possible.
What type of art Michael, do you think people are most interested in these days? Or is there a type?
I would say there's not a specific type. I also manage an art gallery, so from that perspective, these days, if you're looking at that crowd and those buyers, the pop art is really, the street art style stuff has really come up,
like the
really
stuff
on
they
the
paint
rise.
on buildings?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Absolutely.
Are
Yeah.
you serious?
And then
Yeah.
they do it on canvas, or
Yeah.
they'll do it on brick facades and mount them to wood frames and put them in a gallery that way.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Really?
that's really popular.
Is this
Yeah.
just in this area, or are you talking about, nationally, so to
I'm
speak?
talking nationally.
Yeah.
The Basel Fair in Florida every year, that's a lot of that came up through that fair, a lot of that type of work.
Basel? Excuse me,
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
called-
understand. What is
yeah,
that? How do you
Basel.
spell that?
BASEL.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Easel.
Yeah.
Fair.
And the street art community in Detroit is insanely talented.
It is. I've noticed it's just on the buildings. It's amazing to me.
So good, so cool. There's several factions of artists in the Detroit area, and the street art community is a very cool, very slick group of people.
What are the other
Well,
communities?
there's the outsider artist, which is kind of what we are.
Yeah, I'm more of an outsider artist.
Yeah,
for
you're
sure.
definitely fine.
I'm a
Yeah.
little renegade.
Yeah, you're a little more outside than me. but I still consider myself an outsider because it's the only group that accepts me. But there's the African American art community as well that is just insanely talented. Then there's a group of artists from out of town that like to call themselves Detroiters, but they aren't. They're the New York, LA types that come here thinking that they're going to make it big because, oh well, Detroit's a small place. I can be a big fish in a small pond.
Not as competitive.
Yeah,
They think.
and it's brutally obvious that they're not from here.
I
So
see.
yeah,
So if people were interested in viewing you gentlemen's art, how do they do that? I'll start with you, Steve.
Just kind of keep an eye on our social media when I can get around to finding a
What
venue.
is your social media?
I'm on
handle?
Instagram. My Instagram is Steve CZAP and
Z-A...
CZAP.
Wait a minute,
Yeah,
hold it here. Say
yeah.
it again.
Steve
S-T-E-V-E.
CZAP.
C.
Yep, as in
Z-A-P.
Charlie. Yep, Z
Okay.
is in zebra, AP is in Paul.
Okay.
That's my Instagram.
That's Instagram.
And you can find me on Facebook, and I'm I try to be on as many different places as possible, but I spend most of my time on Instagram because I'm sharing images, which makes more sense to be there than
Okay. And how
in
do
other
people
places.
look at your art, Michael?
Well, I'm at markhamartist1.com. You can find me online at Facebook and Instagram at Markham Artist. Most of my focus is on Instagram when it comes to Facebook when it comes to social media, because I get more interaction with my fans and things that way, and I like that platform for promoting. And I try to do a monthly giveaway or a monthly promotion on the channel every month, and then you can find me on YouTube. Right now the channel is still under Radar Media, which is my music label, but I'm eventually planning on switching it over to Markham Artist. So if you search Markham Artist on YouTube right now, you'll still come up with me.
He's all over the place.
I'm all over. linktree.com, Markham Artist. It'll show you every link, everywhere you can find me online.
Yeah, I've got one too. My linktree.com is Steve CZAP as well. But yeah.
Oh, Steve, see, that's your link tree as well.
Yeah.
I don't even know what link tree is. Why don't you tell my audience what it is?
Oh,
since I don't know what
it's
it
a
is.
really cute little free site. You make an account and you can make buttons for all your links and share that link, and people can just click on all those buttons. And you can add and delete, and it's free. You send your people to your music list on Apple, or send people to your YouTube page, or send people to your merch page. It's all right there. All you have to do is just plug in the URLs, and it generates it for you. It's a really nice marketing tool. Saves you from having to load up URLs. Okay, here's my Facebook, here's my Instagram, here's my
Right.
Twitter, here's my YouTube, here's my TikTok,
You
here's my...
just do linktree because we...
Yep.
You could print out a QR code
Yeah.
from your page
Mhm.
and have it on like your merch table or something. If you're doing a show, people could come by and scan your code, and they get all your links all at once.
Oh, okay, all the links.
Yep, they just scan it with their phone.
Alrighty. Okie dokie. So that's the way you advertise and market your shows. Do you ever, before I get to that, do either of you do portraiture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so a person can come and you can do the portrait,
Certainly.
a portrait.
Yep. Commissions, I do commissions, custom work, murals. I have a stencil series that I'm working on that's actually very popular. A lot of people are interested in commissions of these stencils.
What do you mean? What's a
Or
stencil?
friskets.
What's a
It's
stencil?
the technical art term.
Oh.
But the stencil is a monochrome stencil. So what I do is tributing all of the musicians of Detroit and the surrounding area. And I take an image of them, illustrate it onto a stencil board, and then I cut the stencil out. So I have the black negative space. And it's just a monochrome. I only use one color. And paste it up on a piece of paper or somewhere and spray it out with some spray paint.
that style of your artwork is how we met. Through yeah, you submitted artwork to my Fallen Stars show.
Yeah, the Bill Haley.
Yes.
And his
Bill Haley
Comets.
and the Comets. Yep.
Oh, I know that group.
Yep.
Yeah, first rock and roll band ever.
Oh, yeah.
He coined the term rock and roll.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Actually, I
wonderful.
think rock and roll was coined by some Ohio DJ or something like that. That's why the
No, yeah.
that's why the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is there in Ohio,
Yeah.
because that DJ is the one who coined the term. Yeah.
I see. So, okay, so art is, you think the art business is booming in Michigan?
I think that it's stable. You have a lot of people in this community that are very enthusiastic about it. So one thing about Detroit and Detroiters in general is our sense of pride, our attitude, and the fact that no matter what, you drag us through the mud, you beat us down, you're never going to stop us. Never.
We're like the Ukrainians.
How long
There
have we
you
been
go.
there?
Yeah, we're like the Ukrainians.
How long has that been us?
Yeah,
Right.
that is absolutely. But it's intriguing to me. And ladies and gentlemen, you're watching WJZZ, the coolest station in the world. It is. You can watch us on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, every single social media platform. We're live here in the city of Detroit. My guests today are Mr. Steve Chapiewski. And he is a graphic artist and fine artist. And if you're listening in, then you know that we're doing great with him in terms of identifying these new art forms. And Mr. Michael Markham, M to the second power. He's an artist as well, who does a different type of art. But he does illustrations, etc. And I'm not saying it correctly, so I need you to plug me in here. What type of art you do?
Oh, I do. Well, the style of art I do a lot of surrealism. The past several years I've crossed over into pop art a little more and street art style work.
What is street art and pop art, gentlemen?
Pop art, first, is anything that references popular culture, that you're recreating or mimicking something that's also already well known out there in society of media consumption, more or less, based from that aspect.
I see. Do you think that pop art will be as enduring as classical art or the regular art?
Absolutely. 100,000%.
I don't see
Warhol
it.
just sold.
Maybe I'm just not used to it, or what is it? That just to me, there's, when you think of a Van Gogh or think of art, that any kind of art, you don't think of just throwing colors on a wall.
It's a lot more than that, though.
Yeah, there's so much more to it, and the beauty of pop art, the reason it's going to hang on forever is because nostalgia never goes away. There's always somebody that's going to be nostalgic for something that came before. For example, one of the pieces you recently created that I totally dig is a picture of the Enterprise from Star Trek The Next Generation working against the aliens from the Megamania video game from Activision back in the 80s. And it's such a cool juxtaposition of these two well-known pop culture versus this really obscure pop culture thing, and I just loved that. That was such a cool combination.
Thank you.
And for me, I lean heavily on pop art references with pinup girl influences as well. So I try to, anytime I do something, I try to mix at least a couple concepts together, or something to bring people in, to make them feel nostalgic, even if it's just roller skates. I have fond memories of roller skating, so I draw my girls roller skating quite a bit. I think that's cool.
You said nostalgia never goes away.
Yep.
So then, what about those period pieces that we look at that are in art museums? I mean,
Well,
they didn't go away, and it's been hundreds of years.
Well, there's still some nostalgia to that. We grew up looking at those things when we were kids. We still want to see them. And really comparing the great masters with pop art, it's more, that's an apples to oranges kind of thing. It's
very different
it's still art. We're still fruit, but we this is citrus, this is, a berry,
I got you. It is two different things. It's just hard for me to grasp it, but I guess the rest of the world has no problem grasping it.
No.
Is that the point?
Like Warhol, for example, is a
I like
force.
Warhol's work.
He's still a force in the art world today.
It should be, and I like
Christie's
it.
just auctioned that
because-
one for
because-
3.1
that,
or
yeah.
100 million.
Something
No,
ridiculous.
It was crazy.
No, it's because though you can see who the people are that he was doing, but just mismatches of color.
That's
Like
more
a little
abstract.
kid,
Yeah.
like a little kid just.
That would be more abstract
Yeah.
than pop art.
Okay. Give me pop art is something that what you just talked about with the Enterprise. I mean,
Yes,
Star
and what
Trek.
he does as well with the Sally character, because he's not, maybe the character is not from a pop art reference, but the style is done in sort of a pop art way, and he incorporates a lot of things with the character that do come from pop art reference. That pop culture reference, not pop art, pop culture reference.
And
like
pop
he said
culture
with the
is?
roller skates.
Pop culture is what is
popular
pop culture?
popular culture,
Yeah.
things that we do every day, things that we
culture.
Yeah.
what are the kids into today? What's the most popular thing with the kids right now?
Tennis shoes. No.
Yeah.
What
That's
else?
pop
Could be.
culture. Tennis
Could be.
shoes have become pop culture, if that's the case.
But what were you going to say is pop culture these days?
Oh, these days I'm not sure. Like as far as like the youth, but things like Pokemon, stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's pop culture.
Yeah.
Even the Beatles now, to where they're at in society, and and being memorialized the way they are, they've become pop culture as well. And so
And pop culture is in the eye of
it's
the
kind
beholder.
of a broad definition.
It's something.
It's very fluid, is what you're
Yeah,
telling
it depends on who you are.
Very, very
Your
fluid.
pop culture might be different from mine. You grew up with different things, and when I first started doing pop art, I thought that I'm young and I know my stuff, and I remember saying to myself, I have my finger on the pulse of pop culture, man. I know what's popular, and then I put it in my artwork, and nobody buys it.
How'd you guys know you were artists? Have you done other things in your life?
When I was like 2 or 3, I grabbed a pencil, and that was it.
Yeah,
That
Really?
was really it.
So you always you as well?
the same thing.
You
Yep.
just started designing and making blocks
Yep.
and making stuff.
Yeah,
and-
tracing your hand and turning it into a turkey. Doing whatever creative thing that we could do. And,
Okay.
just to have fun with it, and hopefully someday make a living at it.
Okay.
It's and that's the trick.
So it's
that's the real
a
trick.
gift. It's a gift.
It's a gift and a curse. It's something that you get within you, and it's just like, this is innate. This is nature for me, and like when I was a kid, not knowing what I was doing, just picking up a pencil. First thing I ever did. It was like before I was writing my name, I was drawing, and so
Really?
yeah, and so the thing about it is, you can't not do it when it's that part of you. No matter what it does for you in your life. Whether you're never successful and never make any money or anything, or whether you're highly successful or gloriously so, and either way, it's just something you're going to do. You're going to do it.
Speaking of that, what is the art market like these days?
Ups and downs. It's good though. It's good though. Like he said, solo shows, great.
Yeah.
My last solo show did great. You want to talk about traditional advertising? I did flyering. I did the whole gamut for that event. And I had more people in on that show from my social media strictly, as opposed to those flyers. And so I'm kind of over flyering maybe. I don't know. After I saw the lack of results from the last show, but I did really well at that show nonetheless.
But the flyers still give people sort of like a hard copy that they can stick in their purse and remember with. Does that matter or no?
It does. See, here's something that's funny. That's kind of a parallel to that. I'll give you sort of a parallel answer to that question, I guess. We moved the gallery from one location to another, And once we had done that, when we were moving, we did newspaper advertising, we did radio advertising to advertise the closing sale, you know. We had more people in from the newspaper than anything. It was unbelievable. Can't believe how many people came in.
Which newspaper did you use?
Detroit
Oh,
News, Detroit
okay.
News. You know.
Oh, the regular
Yeah.
daily paper.
Yeah.
You have to know
Mm-hmm.
your your end buyer. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like one of my major clients over the years was Hillside Furniture, which closed some years
Yeah, I
back
remember.
when Art Van bought them and promptly croaked themselves. But while I was with Hillside, we had our venues of advertising that worked the best. TV worked for us. The weekend paper, the homestyle section, worked really well for us. Direct mail worked for us. And we funneled our money into those things, and that's who wanted to see us. We did some social media stuff. We did advertising, banner ads on sites. That wasn't our crowd. That wasn't the crowd that was into that. Yeah, they have computers. Yeah, they have smartphones, but they're not. That's not who that client was. So we stuck with what worked. But for what we do, you know, individually, you just got to know who your audience is. And sometimes print material works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes advertising online works, sometimes it doesn't. You just pick and choose. And just as this is an advertising rule, a commandment. Find what works. Find the advertising venue that works, and own it. If TV works, put your money in TV. Don't screw around with something else.
Okay.
If it works, stick with it.
That makes sense. That's good. That's good business.
That's just, and that's one
advice.
of the that's one of the best things I can give to other graphic artists that are working with new clients that don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. You try a little bit of money here. It's like, oh, let's try this Instagram thing. Let's throw $20 at this and see what happens. It's basically throw some stuff against the wall, see what sticks, and what sticks, own it.
In addition to people looking for you two gentlemen's art, and that is Steve Chapiewski and, of course, Michael Markham's work. Who else, what other work do you think is going to be the hot thing that people should buy? They should buy your work, obviously.
Oh, yeah, no, we're the next hot thing.
Okay, the two of you, are there others that you perceive as people whose artwork, if you buy it today, in 4 years, it'll be like off the chain?
Well, I
Who
can.
would you buy? Let's put it
Wow.
like that. Let me just ask you
As
that.
far as unknowns or in the art world in general?
Both.
In the
Unknowns.
art world in general, Peter Max is, he's
yeah.
done producing. He's still alive, but he's done producing.
But
And,
his stuff is really expensive.
Oh,
isn't
yeah, it is.
It's
but
already
once
expensive.
watch what it goes up to once he's gone though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now is the time to buy Max,
Okay.
if you're able to invest,
Okay.
100%.
And what else? Anything by anybody other than Peter?
I
can
think
think
he's the
of?
biggest.
Warhol as well.
Well,
I mean,
Warhol
if you're looking at,
already.
but if you're looking at that kind of high-end investment, though.
Yeah, but that's hundreds
You
of
know,
thousands of dollars.
Right, but all artwork to me, in my opinion, is an investment. You're always going to be able to at least resell it for what you paid for it, if not, a little bit more. And known works, known artists, and we're not talking at the level of Peter Max and Warhol. I'm talking they're underground, but they're still somewhat known. They're still going to give you a 1% annual return on their work, on investing.
Okay. But if you were going to buy right now, what would you buy? With you, but I'll ask you too. Your educated eye.
I
So
wish
you
I
don't
could buy Max right now.
Yeah.
I'll
I
tell
mean,
you
other
that.
than Max, we know that's
Well, I'm a fan of things that are specific to my influence. So I would invest in artists like H.R. Giger,
How do you spell the last name?
Gieger.
G-I-E.
G-E-R.
Giger.
Yeah, he did
Sure.
the Alien. He designed Alien from the Alien movies
Okay.
and stuff, and the set for Dune in the early 80s.
Okie dokie.
Stuff like that.
Who else?
Personally, from my end, I really enjoy a lot of the comic book artists, and if money were no object, I would love to get work from some of the greats in comic art like Bill Sienkiewicz or Frank Miller, or not necessarily Todd McFarlane because I like him, but because he's Todd McFarlane. There's so many great comic artists, and there's new ones. Arthur Adams was a huge influence on me when I was a kid. I loved his artwork. He worked on X-Men and several other books back in the day. One of my favorite artists growing up, his name was Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, and he worked with DC Comics back in the 70s and 80s and did beautiful, beautiful work. He was kind of like their go-to guy when they needed a book well done and well drawn, and it would sell. He'd do
So
something.
you guys can draw comics?
I've done it.
I'm not a huge
but-
fan of doing comics.
Yeah.
I'm more fine art influenced, masters influenced. Saft-Levin, Da Vinci, people of that caliber. Saft-Levin, in fact, is also another artist that I would invest in if given the opportunity.
Anybody in Detroit that you think is of the caliber to get to the max level? Oh.
I mean, there's a lot of artists in this area that are like that, I don't like to, how do you put it? I don't know. I don't like to make a lot of comparisons like that amongst the
I'm
artists
just saying
in
if
the
you
world.
were going to invest. I mean, other than
there's,
invest in yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Sometimes, though, in these situations, you kind of draw a blank, and you're like,
Yeah.
dang it, who do I want to think of?
When you talk about pop art.
Matthew Blake Holfetz.
Oh, yeah. He's
If
one
you
of the
know of
street
his
artists.
work.
Yeah, he's one of the...
Matthew Blake.
Matthew Blake Holfetz.
He also
How do you
goes
spell
by...
his last name?
Oh, geez.
I'm not sure. H-O-L or E-L?
H-O-E-F-L-E-T-Z, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
something like that.
If you search,
H-O-E-L-F-E-T-Z. That's
he-
not, 'cause
yeah,
I would
he
not have
goes-
searched for him without his name.
He goes by the a pseudonym In Art I Trust.
In Art I Trust.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's his
I
kind
like
of
that.
nom de plume.
Nice stuff. Good
Does
stuff.
Really cool stuff. He's one of the
Very
one of
colorful.
the street level artists in town.
Okay.
Really cool dude. A lot of energy.
Well, what about the artists we have in the show today?
Oh, absolutely. Talking about comic artists, in the room next to us is Steve Gamberd. He's working on some new comic work. He and I get together on a weekly basis and work out ideas and feed off each other's energy, like I was saying earlier. He's planning on doing a comic-themed show at some point in the future. We're all hoping to do solo shows in the near future. It's been a long time since we've had the opportunity to do these things, so we're all, just itching to get back in front of people
Yeah.
and make money.
Yeah.
We also have some nice abstract work in the show by Phyllis Jarvis.
Phyllis Jarvis.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And Monique Yaldu.
Yeah, Monique's stuff is very cool.
All right. Monique.
Yaldu. Y-A-L-D-O-O. And it's acrylic-based work.
Okay. It's interesting. You gentlemen are both so talented and so knowledgeable. And unfortunately, I think that a lot of people don't know a lot, particularly in the African American community, about art. Because we don't have art in schools anymore. You still have it out there in Sterling Heights? I don't know.
Well,
They don't have art.
I
They
didn't
don't
s-
have music. They don't have
I
lots
didn't
of
s-
things that are the creative that
I didn't
you
study
know.
art when I was in high school. I took one class, and my teacher had it in for me, so I left, and I did not study art until I got to college. And when I got to college, I had no idea what I was going to do. I took graphic arts classes, I took fine arts classes, I took journalism, I took as many creative avenues as I could, and tried to find my way, and eventually found my way into graphic arts because
Okay.
it was, I had a couple choices, and which one was I going to go with, and I went with the one that made me money.
What about you, Michael?
Similar. I did study art in high school, though the teachers were brutal.
They were
I had
awful. What the
I had
hell?
one that was really encouraging and nice, though.
Oh my God, mine hated my guts.
But the rest of them, it's like okay, well, you know what? I'm just going to stick this out because I know it's what I'm supposed to do, and I don't really care what you say about it. And that's always kind of been my attitude and my approach with everything in my life. I did go to college for graphic design because I saw it as a practical application to artistic talent, monetarily. But at the same time, I feel like I kind of didn't stick by my principles and kind of sold out on my own laurels a bit because I wasn't really believing in going and pursuing it totally as a fine artist, which is really what I should have done. Although the graphic design skills that I acquired really did give me a sense of refinement that I probably would not have achieved otherwise. Nonetheless, I feel like, you know, a lot of artists do that, though. They go into art school or they go to a graphic design program or something because they're like, well, you know, artists don't really make a living off their art, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, that's the worst thing you could think for yourself and go into it as such.
A profession. Which
is how I did it. And, you know, it's not really the profession I stayed in. I do it for people here and there on the side.
And don't let
apply it to my own stuff.
And don't let people discourage you. I mean, while I was growing up and I wanted to be an artist, my parents said horrible things to me. They said, artists are a dime a dozen. I still hear that in my head.
They're not, though. They're
and
so
no,
not.
They're not.
They're not a dime a dozen.
Because I can't even
so
draw
many
a
people
stick
wish
man.
they could do it.
And
I can't draw a stick man. That's on my mother and my father.
And if people want to learn, you don't have to go to college. You don't have to take the classes in high school. If they're not available, you're unable, whatever. There's so many groups that you can get together with once a month, once a week. Just find some other, you know, creative folks just to hang with. Start sketching. Pick up some books. Look online. There's drawing instructions on YouTube for free. This is a good opportunity for me to plug a project that is near and dear to me. The third Monday of every month, a group gets together at a coffee shop called the Dovetail in Warren. We do figure drawing classes. It's not a class, it's just a group of people drawing figures. We have a live model. It's called See What Stacy Started. I didn't organize it in the first place. A gentleman named Brian Lewandowski is the one that started that. And it's kind of a charity thing. We do annual events to support MS. And we get together with all of our artwork over the course of the year, put it up in a gallery, and have a party. So if you can find something like that, that is not the only figure drawing group in town. They're at the Scarab Club. They're at Paint Creek Center for the Arts out in Rochester. All you have to do is just seek it out. And people are cool. If you want help, they'll help you. If you draw something and you don't want to show it, you just close your book and just go look at other people's stuff. It doesn't matter.
Because I cannot draw.
No. All skill levels are welcome. Don't feel that, hey, all I can draw is a stick figure. You got to start with a stick figure. That's how you draw the figure. You start with a stick figure, and then you just add more to it.
Michael wants to add something.
Yeah.
Scarab Club is how CCS started.
How what?
They first started as the Scarab Club, and then they got too big and opened the center, and then developed into the Center for Creative Studies.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about the Center for Creative Studies down in Wayne State.
Wayne State area.
Yeah, down
the big
across the
building.
street.
Yeah. So that is, would either of you ever done any work with them, or would you, or is it really for artists, or is it really for automotive stuff? I mean, design is design.
They do a lot of automotive
and furniture, and
as from what I understand, but no, it is very much an art school. Very much.
Very,
It's a very good art school, is it?
Very expensive art school.
Yeah, it is.
Very
It's
expensive.
about $70,000.
Got in, couldn't afford it.
Yeah, I
70,000 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider it when I was in going to Macomb. There was no way I could afford it. I was.
But both of you would have been interested in going there?
I got accepted.
Oh, go.
Yeah.
Okay, so you graduated from there?
No,
Okay.
I couldn't afford it.
Okay, yeah, the 70,000 a year is a bit
I don't
much.
think it was that much back
It's about
then,
that now.
but yeah.
It weren't cheap. I'll tell you that much.
But I should go and finish setting up for our show today.
Yes, you should. Ladies and gentlemen, there is if you're here in Detroit and you're listening to us, you can come over and look at Michael's show and obviously see Steve's work and so forth right here in the city of Detroit.
Yep. And
it is from 11 a.m. It's already started.
Give
to
the address.
6 p.m.
What is the address
And
here?
it is hosted by Detroit Uncommon. It's a Detroit Uncommon pop-up shop
Okay.
And
at the Ralston.
Village.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's at on Ralston.
Ralston Street, 16570, Ralston in Detroit.
That's correct. So shoot on over. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything
That's
to
right.
come in. And you might just find that picture that you can't live without. You gentlemen are fabulous. It's so good that you could spend some time with me today. And I want everyone to know how to reach you and look at your work and in the future. So how do what's the address? What's the you gave it to us once before, give it to me again.
MarkhamArtist1.com. Markham is spelled Markham. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at Markham Artist, or email me at markham@markhamartist1.com.
Steve?
I'm Steve CZAP on Instagram. That's where I tend to be the most active. You can find me on Facebook. My YouTube channel is not doing so well right now, so I'm still working on that. You can find my general portfolio at oommstudios.com. I can be reached via email, steve@oomstudios.com. And you can find me spouting off on all kinds of things on Twitter.
You like comics a lot, and you like pop art a lot. Is that correct, Michael?
Pop art, well, and more of the the master stuff.
Yeah,
classical, like
and portraiture.
Renaissance,
Yeah.
and
we can do
surrealism,
yeah,
Dali,
surrealism,
and things
Dada,
of that nature.
all that stuff. Anything modern is my gig. I love modern.
It's just art.
Yeah.
I just love art.
But at the same time, I'm happy to go to a museum and look at stuff from the Egyptian stuff at the DIA. The suits of armor.
It's just a lifestyle.
Cool. Yeah.
You live it, you breathe it.
Yeah.
I would agree with you about that. But you, both of you gentlemen, stick strictly to paintings. You're not designing furniture or anything like that.
Actually, I'm designing my bed for when I get a house, and I'm designing my coffee table.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have designed furniture.
I've got ideas.
Okay.
And
big ideas.
And most of the work I do is digital. I work almost exclusively in Adobe Illustrator. So I do conventional art as well, but I specialize in digital.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody again for joining us on Chop It Up here at WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. You can watch us, listen to us, follow us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and every other social media platform. Gentlemen, thank you for taking time away from your show.
Thank you.
I can't wait to go out and spend time at your show. And then I want you to add me to your list of people you send
you
stuff
bet.
to.
I'd love to.
Because I'm going
Absolutely.
to come and see your other shows.
Yeah, great.
Okay?
Awesome.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you for watching. I know it was kind of lengthy. Normally on a radio interview, you traditionally, you're lucky if you get 10 minutes, really. But we were blessed and fortunate to have all that wonderful airtime and exposure for the event and the show, and for us as artists and our work and everything. Can't even ask for that half the time. So, thank you for sticking around. Get at me on Facebook and Instagram at Markham Artist. Email me, markham@markhamartist1.com. And the latter part of that email address is also the website. So, check it out. Buy some shit. Available for commissions. All kinds of merch, music, goodies, and more. Things coming up this year as well. It just keeps rolling, man. And it's not going to end. Hope you're all doing well. And I will catch you on the flip side. Peace.